Hello, you're watching Black Bi Reality, the place for Black Bi baddies and those who love them. I'm Nicole Weaver, and I'm here to cover season 2 of Cruel Summer. And I'm here with my co-host for the series, my Scorpio bestie, Alisha. Hi, Alisha.
Hi, how are you today?
I am good. I have my detective hat on. It's invisible. Just revisited episodes 2 to 4. So we had a late start on this podcast. We
We
were on
did.
t- we were on time watching, but my ass did not decide to start this podcast until a few episodes in. So in order to try and catch up to where we are at, we are doing the big feat of covering episodes 2 to 4. We're going to go in order. We're not jumbling it all around, but obviously, spoiler warning, we're going to really, really try to make this all into one episode so we can be there with you guys for episode 5. Starting off episode 2 in July 18th, 1999. So Isabella is cooking with Debbie and Lily, and she mentions she loves Tunisian food, and she has moved a lot while she was younger, and she went to boarding school. So a little bit of a insight into her past. She also mentions Lisa. We hear about Lisa a lot, and she said Lisa, her friend at boarding school, was like family to her. She called her ambitious and a control freak. Debbie was like, ugh, sounds familiar. Of course, she's talking about Megan. Um, and then Isabel goes through Megan's room. Her computer is locked, but then Megan has like 3 computers, which kind of confused me. She finds Megan's wallet and brings it to her job. Luke is there, and Isabella weirdly invites herself over to Luke's house and decides on a whole party. And for a
Yeah.
minute, Luke is like, "Oh, cool. Megan want to come?" And Isabella jumps in and was like, "We shouldn't bother Megan." So, very interesting move here.
Very interesting move. You know that made a little cut in Megan's heart because Megan is acting like she's not feeling Luke, but really she is.
Yes.
And Isabella is like swooping down on Luke. I appreciate it. I'm very team Isabella in this show, even though the writers are hit or miss with how they're writing her out. I am still team Issa. I'm gonna call her no, not Issa, Isa.
Isa.
I've been giving everyone nicknames. So Isa, Meg, Luke, of course, you can't really shorten that.
Nah.
And then Deb for the mother. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very team Isa.
Yes. I'm starting to be more team her, but I'm still so suspicious. Like I said, I'm rooting for her even if she's a murderer. Just a bit.
I don't think she's a murderer, but let's keep going and
Let's
I'll
keep
get to
going.
why. Yeah.
So later on, they have this party. It's very July. Luke and Isabella, they pull out some fireworks. It's beautiful, gorgeous. Later, they're in the pool. And by the way, Megan the whole time, sour face. Sourpuss face is not feeling it. In the pool, Isabella loses an earring. She's like, oh my God, my bestie got me this earring. And Luke dives down and immediately picks it up. Then they kiss.
I thought it was cute or whatever, like a little kiss. Kissing in the water sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um Megan saw, and that was like maybe the fifth little cut in her little heart when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
Luke and and Isa. Um, yeah, I mean, he found her earring, and she was overwhelmed with gratitude. So she's like, let me give him a little kiss or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I think Isabella's here for fun, all right?
Yes,
And
Isabella is here for fun.
she ain't thinking too hard about Luke. She's like, yeah, you're here right in front of me. the vibe's good. Let's do this.
But I think she definitely wants, like, she's here for fun when it's to Luke, but I think she definitely is serious about getting close to Meg, which is interesting about like why she's still trying to hook up with Luke so much. Because even though we know Meg's told Issa that she's not feeling Luke, I feel like Issa still knows that there's
Mm-hmm.
something unresolved between them or something brewing between them. So it's interesting, but also Issa should get Issa should get what she wants, you know?
Yeah.
Like let her
Yeah.
get her little kiss and some other things.
I agree. I agree. All right. Jumping to December 18th, 1999. So Megan watches the video at home and we see it was her in the video, not Isabella. And Isabella basically says, hey, let people still think it's me. You're a sister to me. I can take the bullets. I'm going to leave anyways, ride or die. So later,
Pause.
yes.
Pause. Why? Like how are they first of all, it's only been like 5 months between like summertime and winter, right? Or like 3 months. We don't know what part of summer they started in and what part of winter this second timeline takes place.
We
But
do,
they're already
July.
5 months, yes.
Okay.
And they're already best friends. They're already ride or die. She's over here like,
Mm-hmm.
you're the most important person to me already. Like, it's wild to me that she's going ham trying to protect this white girl's identity. Like, I know you don't live in this town and you or she gets to go to college, but
Yeah.
still, like, it's like that's a lot for her to be doing.
I kind of get where she's coming from though, right? Because she's in and out, and she even said like, I don't want to go to college. Like all of this is like nothing to her, and she was just like, yeah, like I can take it. I don't care about these people. I don't know these people like you. For us as grown black femmes, we're like, I
The
do you,
fuck?
child. But I understand. Like, I feel like younger me might have done some shit like this if I was like,
Really?
exactly, yeah, yeah.
Damn, younger me would not have done this.
And that's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, I well, let's just keep going because it gets juicy.
Yes. Yes, it does. So, also in this timeline, we know that people are angry at Isabella. Her trailer is vandalized. There's like blow up dolls and
Yes.
everything going on there. Later, Luke is against Isabella's plan of saying it was her because now he's going to go around looking like a cheater. Um, Isabella runs into Parker later at Brent's house because she's like, wait, there might be more tapes. Luke, by the way, did say that it was probably Brent and he's going to handle him. Isabella's like, you can't handle him. I'm going to do this stuff. I'm ride or die for Megan. And he's like, you just got here. So they're
Yeah.
kind of having
Yeah.
a little power thing over Megan.
But again, going ham, like Megan could
Yes,
have also been looking for these tapes. Like
absolutely.
Megan could have also been suspecting all these things. Like this black girl is trying to save this little white girl's life. Like it is
Absolutely.
nuts how hard she's going. And for me, I have yet to see Meg do anything for Isa that feels like it's worth the miles that she's going for this girl. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I think your problem with this is that the storytelling is like skipping a step. Like we
yes,
need
yes,
more building blocks to this friendship for how we
yes.
get here. And I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Because
Yeah.
right now, it's just giving desperation, like desperation for approval, desperation for like validation and love from this white girl. And I mean, there are some details. Like we know that Isabella's parents are neglectful, like they're very busy, they're
Mhm.
very like hardworking. They also are rich, like they travel the world a lot. Like Isabella hasn't really doesn't have any like grounding when it comes to community and friendships. So she is craving those things, which makes sense. But still, I feel like she is putting so much weight on Meg. And it's like what has Megan done to earn this loyalty that you're giving her, that you're showing her? Like I haven't seen it. Anything, we've mostly seen Megan not like her and like
Yes,
mistrust her. That's mostly what we've seen. We haven't seen any like friendship gestures from Megan yet.
agreed. I think I think something we might be missing is whatever Debbie wrote in this letter to get this black girl over
Mm,
here.
yeah,
Because she told Luke in the first episode, like, oh, I decided on this because of Debbie's letter. And it's like, I want to know what she said about her kids in that letter.
right.
So wild. Moving on, Isabella goes to Brent's house. She is ready to get these tapes. She finds Parker. Parker was in a relationship with Brent, so Parker put 1+1 together, and she's like, not my coochie. Apparently, gonna be on the jumbotron one day. That can't be
Right,
me.
right,
That can't
right.
be me. So Isabella just decides to pick up something, throw it through the glass door, hop in. They find these tapes, they start destroying it, but there's something mentioned and pointed out here. Parker said not Christmas of 98 because
Hmm.
that's
The
the
mother.
tape where the mom was alive. And it's like, okay,
Yes.
I'm mad at this boy, but I'm not gonna like ruin his memories with this mom.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
stomp on these tapes. The garage door open. They book it. All right. So Brent later, Luke confronts Brent, thinking he's big. He ain't. Brent denies making the tape, which is the tape specifically of Luke and the girlfriend, which he doesn't know it's Meg. He thinks it's homegirl, but he denies making that tape. So there possibly still is a question of who made this tape.
Pause.
Mm.
So, the other black person in this show, he's also an aspiring filmmaker, an aspiring
Yes.
documentarian. So we have
Show is.
two. So we have Brett, who both are like figuring out how to use a camera in 1999, and like they're at the cusp of this like this technological revolution, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
that's probably like one aspect of this show that I find really interesting is that this um thinking about like nude photos getting leaked and like sex tapes getting leaked, like that was like this time period, the late 90s is like the start of when those things are happening and when
Mm-hmm.
technology is becoming abused in this way to
Mm-hmm.
like harm women. And so it's very interesting. Do we think this little black boy is a suspect? Because we know that he is like filling
Yes.
Meg hard. And he's probably a little tight that like she ends up dating what's his face and not him.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We
Would
know
he
for
do something that
sure.
yeah, but would he
We
do
know for
something that
sure later he
terrible?
is jealous.
Yes.
But right now, I'm not seeing it. And it seems too obvious, honestly. It seems too
Mm.
obvious. So, like, I'm kind of not even looking at him. I am still keeping options open because, like, he just seems like a scorned lover, but I don't know if he would go that far.
I don't think he would either, but just pointing out that he is the other person in
Yes,
this show who be using his camera. So
absolutely.
so either someone hijacked his camera or maybe Brent really did just do this fuck shit and does not care and is trying to deny it.
I guess. I guess. He also said he stopped immediately when he noticed it was Luke, which I'm like, thank God, because that's gross. So yeah, I just he's a
Wait,
terrible.
stopped
Yeah,
what immediately?
he said the tape. Like I don't know if he had it some other time, but I believe he said no, it wasn't me, and that he stopped it immediately, or like maybe he stopped watching. Maybe he said at the party I
Oh,
stopped
okay,
watching
the watching.
immediately.
Okay.
like he's a grosso, but I think his one boundary is like, I'm not going to be watching my brother have sex. What the fuck?
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were insinuating something else, that he
No,
was
no,
actually
no.
filming it.
No, no,
Okay.
no. No,
Yeah,
no.
because I had thought that the recorder was just set in the room in
Yeah,
a certain way. Okay.
I think so too.
Still gross, but yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, lastly, the whole episode, well, not that whole episode, but yeah, it was the whole episode. They ended, I think, on this one. But Luke and Megan, they're talking in bed, and he says that Brent doesn't know that it's Megan in the tape and that he didn't fully watch it. Isabella's overhearing all of this, and Megan just starts saying, like, Luke, you're my ride or die, you're the most important person in my life. And that's when Isabella said, oh, for real? Debbie, I got a secret to tell you. That isn't me. It's your little daughter. So you can save your slut shaming for that.
The spite. The spite.
It was spiteful.
It was so spiteful. It was so spiteful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Spiteful as fuck. Spiteful as fuck.
Got it. Then we're moving on to July 18th, 2000, our green timeline. Sheriff Meyer, he reads the coroner's report. So now we finally know what happened to Luke. Luke died from drowning, and he had a gunshot graze his ear. And on top of that, he had benzos in his system.
Yeah. So that's a lot. That sounds like it was a long, terrible death.
Yeah.
Um, we we know about a person in the show who does have some drugs. We don't know what kind of drugs it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is that revealed yet about
It's at the very end. Isabella, at the very end of this timeline, calls her mom for help, and then she empties a pill bottle down the toilet and flushes it, which is not the
oh
proper way to get
no.
rid of these
Oh
pills. But
yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely not. But no, but also Meg has pills too in her backpack at the pool party.
Yes.
So they both, but we
Yeah.
don't know. Hers are for studying. Wait, let me not use quotations.
I mean, we can be suspicious
No,
of
no
anyone, so we
shade.
can use
No shade. Okay,
studying.
okay. Yeah, hers are for studying.
She be on speed, y'all. Like she's doing a lot. And then we know by this timeline, I believe, Debbie's sick and she has a bunch of meds.
Yes, yes. So we
So
have like three possibilities of where these meds are coming from. So whoever tried to kill this young man was like, first we're gonna try and like make you OD. That's not gonna work. We're gonna dump you in the river. But before we dump you in the river, let's shoot you in the head. But I'm not a good shot, which is pertinent to this story. I'm not a good shot. So it's only gonna,
oh,
yes, bitch. I'm a little detective, okay, Scooby Doo in this piece. Like, so
so
the
you
person who
do
shot
think
him,
Isabella's a bad shot. We know that.
Isabella's a bad shot, but we don't learn that until episode 3 that she's a bad shot.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get
We'll
there.
get
But
there. We'll get there. But I mean, whoever tried to, like, it was a 3-part process.
which is ridiculous.
I mean, they're teenagers. They don't know how to dispose of a person. Like, they don't know how to get rid of a human being. And
like,
the internet isn't that big yet. The internet isn't that big yet to be Googling like what are the best practices. So like,
nah, if you gonna kill me, pick one. Just pick one. I don't want to go through
oh man,
so many
I'm
different.
so I'm so morbid that I actually like think about this at least once a day. Like
No,
how would I not want to die? And
exactly.
and drowning is high on my list. So is strangulation. So basically I just don't want to be
Without
at a
breath.
loss of air. Yeah, like I do
Yeah.
not want to experience that. But then also burning buildings, don't want to experience that. claustrophobia. I have a long list. We're giving too much information right now.
Truly. Moving on. Isabella talks of leaving. She's like, maybe I should just hop on a jet and go. And Parker said that everyone is being interviewed again, so bitch, you better not go anywhere. Steve later tells Debbie that he feels like he's being punished by losing Jane. We just got Mama's name finally, and Luke. So he's a sad dad. Parker later says everyone's getting questioned by the sheriff. So here's the details we got. Parker saw Luke at the New Year's Eve party and he was happy. The other girl, I don't think we ever get her name, she claimed that Luke and Megan were kissing at the party, so they were still together. Jeff says he saw Luke leave with Megan, and then he said Isabella left the party early. She was fighting with Megan because of the tape, which is probably not true, because why would they fight over the tape when we know that they're both corroborating on the story that it's Isabella? But a lot of information there.
Lots of information. Well, this black man is trying to figure out like who killed this child. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I actually really enjoy his character, even though I'm
Me too.
anti-police. Like I really enjoy this character. Um, I think he's gonna figure it out. But I also keep thinking about season one and how even when things were figured out, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
I'm anticipating something like that where there is some kind of truth let out in the end, but it's gonna be like 85% of the truth or like even 70. Like I'm anticipating that to happen again. Especially since we know that whoever tried to kill this man, I go from calling him a child to a man to
You do.
whoever tried to kill this little white boy. um it was a three-step process. So it that either could mean that it was one person trying many different ways, or it was three different people with like different ideas, or or I like who knows,
Yeah.
maybe it was the drugs first and then Luke was standing by the lake and then the shot happened and he fell into the water. Like maybe it was something like that.
Or maybe he just takes benzos now. Like, it's very possible he was taking it for whatever reason. And then we then just have the drowning and the gunshot wound. That's a
Yeah, I
possibility.
mean, I don't know what those drugs are
I
remedies
think they're
for.
muscle relaxers. Let me look.
Muscle.
So benzos are a psychoactive prescription drug that slows brain function and decreases
Oh,
central nervous system functions by enhancing. Okay, whatever that means.
so it's
So
not for sleep.
it can, yeah. So it does fall under depressants and are typically used for anxiety disorders, insomnia, seizures. So he could absolutely like be taking benzos for one of those things. But they
Okay,
bring it up like it's suspicious. So
that gives me two new theories, but I can't say them yet because we're still in episode two.
we're still in episode 2. All right. Isabella tells the sheriff that she stayed in town because Debbie got sick. Debbie kind of looked at her as if like that wasn't true, but we definitely know in this timeline that Isabella and Megan are not cool.
They're
So,
not cool. I mean, Debbie could have also been looking at Isabella in like that's the business kind of way too. Like,
mm,
who knows? Either
who
it's not
knows?
true or she's probably just like keep that between us. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. Sheriff said that Isabella has gone to 3 schools in 3 years and she left the last one mid semester. So, very suspicious. And then that's when she calls her mama and is like, you gotta help me. So,
Hmm.
that's the end of that timeline. So, 3 schools in 3 years.
Well, they do travel around a lot.
Who's they? I think she does.
Her family. Doesn't her family travel around a lot?
Said it
Okay.
sounds like she's the one who is constantly moving because she's the one who got sent away to boarding school. She has all these things in her passport, but she is, to me, my perspective is it sounds like she's the one always on the go. Those parents could be right at home. Like we really don't know.
You're right. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, but why would they be sending her to like Europe and all these different places? Or do you think she's lying about all that? Do you think she probably hasn't traveled to all these places?
I don't think she's lying, and I think it does come up in this episode, so let's get into it. July 19th, 1999. Isabella is packing her suitcase. Megan tries to talk Isabella out of going on this trip up to the lake house,
Hmm.
but Isabella's like, nah, I'm going. So later, when everyone is parting it up, Isabella says so many sketchy things in this timeline. It's weird. So she makes a weird joke about, oh, if I shot one of you guys, I would have diplomatic immunity. Who? What child says that?
I mean, in general, the characters in the teenagers, they make a
Mm-hmm.
lot of references to like murder and killing. Like they all do. Like they'll be like, "Oh, like don't shoot me." Like like I wish I were dead. Like they be saying some weird stuff around death and murder. It's very weird.
Megan does at times. I will give you that. Jeff just likes horror stuff. I don't think he talks about murdering. But my girl's not even talking about murdering. She's talking about getting out of murder.
Which is still related to murder.
I don't think
Still
it's the
related.
same.
It's
It's
not the same,
it's
but it's within the topic of murder.
so it's wild to me. And then
It's
Megan,
wild.
she once Isabella turns around and leaves, Megan takes the gun and she makes all these little comments of like, that's your little girlfriend, and she like shoots.
Mm,
Actually, Megan the whole time in this timeline is giving, I'm not like the other girls, because she literally says, well, no girls are allowed on this trip. And Isabella's like, except for you.
except for you.
And
Yeah.
weirdly, Isabella's not actually hanging out with the guys. She later is just reading a book. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
Megan, you don't even have enough personality for I'm not like the other girls. Like, that's a personality, girl. Like, what is she there for if she's just off to a corner reading?
Yeah. Yeah.
Weirdo.
But no, but there was another comment that was made, which was like, oh, like I gotta stay on your good side because that's
Yes.
where Isabella sees that Megan's a really good shot.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But I mean, Megan could still be the murderer
Mm-hmm.
because like she loves Luke. So maybe like even though she was trying to kill him, like she fumbled and and it grazed his ear.
Megan was definitely not trying to kill Luke. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I think she probably was trying to kill Luke.
Okay, okay. Jeff, Jeff, though he likes him some little to herself weirdo. He goes over, starts recording her. She turns it on him. She's like, "You're always hiding behind this camera." He makes a comment of, "I like being behind the camera because you're a part of things, but separate. People tend to forget you're there, and you end up seeing more."
Exactly. I feel like Jeff knows what happened, but also he is like putting every single one of his cards on the table. He's basically putting his dick on the table. He's like,
Yeah.
Megan, I will give it up to you. Like, you are it for me. Like, you're so fucking fine. Like, he is so thirsty right
Mm-hmm.
now, like
Mm-hmm.
parched. I wish I could have handed him a glass of water. Like he's so thirsty. And Megan is like pretending like she's not catching any of this.
Apparently she doesn't. Megan is so naive, so
She is so nice.
oblivious.
Yes.
She don't be seeing anything or doing
Anything.
anything. It's ridiculous. Later on, well, I don't want to skip to that yet. Later on, though, everyone is talking and around the fire pit. Isabella once again jokes about blackmailing the group. She's like, "Oh, let's play some two truths and a lie so I can get some dirt." And it's like, Isabella, chill. Even if I'm rooting for you as a murderer, don't tell people
She's
your
not a
plans.
murderer.
Don't
She's
tell
not.
everyone your strategy. You're wild for that. Keep some secrets in. So Two Truths and a Lie goes around, and she decided, I'm telling all lies. And one of them is that she walks around naked in her sleep, which is very a pick me move. It's definitely a pick me move to like say this lie in front of guys so they could be like, oh. But the thing is that she has Megan join the lie
Yeah, she
so it can
does.
be their inside secret. And that was kind of like the one thing that's starting to bond them is a
Yes,
lie.
it is. Great observation. But also new theory, because what if she's lying about that experience, but she's not lying about the fact that she sleepwalks? And what if that's how the pills come in? Because you said that the pills are for
Ooh.
sleep. So maybe those pills that she was throwing down the toilet are for sleep. And she does have this condition of sleepwalking, and maybe in the future timeline, um, is what Luke is given.
Maybe.
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe.
We might get a little bit of yellow jackets in here. She might
Which
start
a
eating.
yellow jacket comment was made earlier when they were packing for the trip, and Megan was trying to get Issa to stay, and Issa was and yeah, Issa was packing a huge suitcase for like one
Mm-hmm.
night. And
Mm-hmm.
Megan's just like, why are you packing so much stuff? And Issa's like, well, you never know what could happen. Like you can get cold, or like you can end up like stranded in the wilderness and you need to live off the land. And I was just like, I wonder if the writers like threw that in at the last moment because of Yellow Jacket.
That's wild.
That's cute if they did. That's cute if they did.
All right. So after this, it starts raining. Everyone starts packing up inside, but Megan is enjoying the rain. Isabella stays out, and Megan's like, "Oh, you're not gonna go in?" And she said no. She mentions that she would go to, I believe it's like the beach every day with Lisa, so she has no problem with water. Then she tells Megan that Jeff has a crush on her. So, baby girl, open your eyes. So,
Open your pretty brown eyes. Look around you.
look
Remember
around,
that
look
from
around.
Save the Last Dance?
Oh my god. And
Yes.
and Megan, the actress who plays Megan, definitely has a Julia Stiles kind of
It's giving
face.
Julia style.
After that, Isabella and Megan pull up and catch Debbie kissing her ex. Uh, Megan immediately goes to the trailer to go off. She doesn't call Keith dad. It's Keith. Get it right.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around in the summers and holidays in the past, but her parents basically started fighting once Debbie was pregnant with Lily, and then he disappeared after Lily gave birth. So,
Trash. Trash.
trash. Trash. And he's
Trash.
a musician, if we care about that.
Trash.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
Period.
Yeah.
Also, it's so convenient that there's always like a missing parent in these shows. Because like Luke's sister passed away, and then yeah, Megan's father is trash. Like, so that gives Luke's mom and no, Luke's dad and Megan's mom an opportunity to
Yeah.
date with Beard, because like yeah, their kids are dating. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway, in December 19th of 1999, Megan goes off on Isabella for telling her mom that she was in the tape. Isabella says that if we're ride or dies, like, she starts questioning Megan, are you my ride or die? Because I'm starting to feel like you're not. Megan later, when they're in a car, apologizes to Isabella, and she says, you are my ride or die. And Isabella quickly accepts it. I don't think she should have,
And
but
she's also like, and I definitely would do the same thing for you if like the
yes.
tables were turned in terms of the sex tape, which she would not. She
No,
would fucking not.
no,
Like, no.
no one believes that. No one.
No one believes that.
Luke decides to actually start making moves, and the move is to get those tapes and drop the box off at the sheriff's office. Sheriff Myers sees it. Later, we see Sheriff talking to Steve and Brent in the office. He flat out says, hey, some of these tapes have minors on it. This is a criminal offense. But Steve starts pulling his dick out on the table. He's like, first of all, remember all these times that I paid for your stuff? Remember how I picked you up from a bar because you have gambling problems? And he's like, yeah, this is a judgment call, and we're gonna go. We're gonna
Put
go.
him on blast.
So I'm so mad at this. I
Yes,
hated this.
I hated it
Uh,
too. I hated it
so
too.
Brent and Steve get their way. They're in the car. Steve tries to act. He is big mad. Like, I think he's big mad, but he's just like, he said, I thought you were good. Like, what's with this handoff parenting stuff? Like, I know he's like supposed to be going to college. I don't think he's there yet. But what do you mean you thought your kid was good? Look at him. You look at him. I mean, Steve and Debbie, they're different parents, but both of them, they have that attitude of you're good a lot. And it's like, they're not good, baby. Like, people who are good don't make these disgusting tapes.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Steve knows exactly what happened. He talks to Luke. I hate that he bamboozles Luke. At first, he thinks, like, we're bonding. Brent's such a dick. And then he's like, but you know what? Brent isn't a fucking rat. And it's like, whoa! Whoa, with this energy. And then he says, never go against the family. Like, he doesn't literally say
Yup,
that, but he
yup.
might as well.
And you know what? I want to rewind because when Steve was standing outside and Debbie found him and Steve was confiding in her and he was just like, I think I'm getting punished. I think I'm cursed. Da 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 da. Nigga, you are
I
okay.
hope so. I hope so.
Ancestral trauma, like your fucking white supremacy, and I'm pretty sure your ancestors owned slaves because you are perpetuating like a lot of problematic energy around like trying to cover up the things, the terrible things that your child did, and then on top of that, like telling your other child like we don't snitch, and like he's a terrible parent, and like yes, he's cursed, like his fucking ancestors were terrible. Racism, slavery, and the white supremacy, and the what is it called when family members cover each other's bullshit under the rug? Nepotism? No, that's not nepotism.
Nepotism is what later happens with Steve
No,
being like, you're going to work for me. That's your
yes,
punishment. Here's a
yes, you're right.
job.
Why did I think it's called
Here,
nepotism?
here's a job that someone else with actual qualifications could have. That's your
Yep,
punishment.
yep. Well, whatever the word is, he is just a terrible person and a terrible
Yes.
father. And yes, he is cursed. Like, yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
We later find out at the restaurant that Megan used to work at, because Isabel's there too. We find out that Jeff is big mad. He is jealous. And when Megan pulls him aside for saying something off the wall to Isabella, she's like, first of all, that was in front of my sister, which, first of all, you should have just jumped to Isabella's defense.
Exactly.
but whatever. He tells her, like, you picked the wrong guy. I recognize your laugh. Obviously, you were in the video, which is like
Wild. Wild. I
wild.
hated that scene. Wild.
Yeah. And it's like, well, if you knew it was Megan, why'd you say something like that to Isabella? Like, what's happening?
Exactly. Exactly. Like,
So everyone in this town hates women. Every man in
exactly.
this
I
town
can
hates
like that.
women.
That blue timeline is so ugly. Like, not only is it like aesthetically ugly, but like
Yeah.
the things that are happening in this timeline is
Yeah.
so terrible. Like the
It's
sex
bad.
tape, everything just goes downhill after the sex tape. Like, and the misogyny is just off the wall.
Too
Like,
much. It's
I
too
hate the
much.
blue timeline. I hate it. It's too
Same.
much.
Same.
And we're only at the tip of the iceberg.
At the tippy tip. Isabella and Megan later meet Jeff at night on the side of the road. They were posted up. Like, they were definitely like, this is the still. This is going to be for a teaser. So
Yep.
please, back to
Yep.
back. But, but they're at the side. What road is this? Why are we doing this? And they blackmail
I kind
him.
of loved that. I kind of loved it. Like you could tell that they were definitely they like that felt very 90s nostalgia to me. Like that happened in so many like
Mm-hmm.
TV shows and movies where it's just like, all right, like we're gonna meet at this crossroads and we're gonna have it out and I'm gonna say some shit in the woods that no one can hear me, and then you're gonna get back
Mm-hmm.
in your car and we're gonna act like this never happened. Like that's what that was. They were posted up ready to tell him off and be like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
like you think that was me on the tape, but you're gonna forget that. And he's just like, what? No, I'm not. And then Megan's just like, well, I know how you got your equipment, and unless you want other people to know, you're gonna shut the fuck up. And he did.
Shut his ass up. They shut his
And then
ass
she
up.
said something like, we had such a great summer together. Like, I hate that I have to do this,
Mm-hmm.
which key thing, we had a great summer together. I was interested in like, what does that mean? I was just excited to see like, oh, what
Oh,
happened
yeah.
that summer? Like, I want to see what it was like for them to be in a relationship together because they have
Ah,
no
okay.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I want to know what was so great about it.
Yeah. Isabella says her parents only care about their jobs. Again, just saying jobs. I have not heard what this job is. She claims that she feels like an inconvenience and they just throw their money around to not deal with her. This is why I believe it's only been her moving around so much. She says her
Mm,
parents haven't listened to her in 5 years. Very specific time. So
yeah.
now I really want to know what happened 5 years ago.
And the floppy disk that was in her bag, that was
That
from
was,
98.
yeah, it was last December, which a lot of things happened
Okay.
last December. We had that floppy disk of whatever that is, and then we have last December, I guess Luke's mom was still alive.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Something about the winter time, it brings out the worst in these characters and like the worst fates, the worst fates, you know?
I mean, I don't like the winter, so I feel you.
I know I hate the winter. I hate the winter. Seasonal depression on top of
Yes.
year-long depression.
So let's get back into summer, y'all. It's July
Yeah.
19th, 2000. Sheriff comes to talk to Debbie. He says Luke's, Isabella, and Megan's prints were on the gun that was found. The news report, so later on, Megan, she's working at the bar. Her laptop is so thick. So thick. I wish I knew which kind of laptop that is. I don't think.
Definitely like an old school PC. Like those what's
Yeah.
that brand?
Who
Because
knows?
I feel like my earliest laptops were that thick too, you know?
Yeah. It probably was, but I'm really thinking and I like can't even pinpoint if I really had a laptop that thick. But she lugged that to the bar, I'll tell you that. And she heard the
Which,
news report.
but also, I will like, I also, real quick tidbit, um, her taking her laptop to the bar. Like very early signs of what is so normalized today of like taking your laptop to a
Yes.
cafe. I've never
Yes.
seen someone take a laptop to a bar, but
Yes.
still she was planting the seeds of something that
Absolutely.
becomes normalized 20 years later.
Absolutely.
30, 20, yeah, 20.
Yes. The news report says that Luke had narcotics in his system and there is suspicion of foul play. This one woman next to Megan is trying to be like, oh my God, did you like know him? And Megan is very much like, why are you in my face? And then we
Mm-hmm.
find out she's a journalist. So we're definitely going to see this character again.
Can
So,
can I
oh,
just say that that journalist is a bad journalist because she wasn't even trying to play it cool. She went from 0 to 100 real quick. How do you go from,
absolutely.
oh my God, you're from that town, you knew him, straight to, I could help you. I could help you to get your story out. Like there was no in between. Like, of course you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get the coffee poured in your food.
You're lucky it wasn't in your lap because at first
Exactly. I
I
thought too. I
thought,
thought it
but I
I
was
thought it
like,
was in
she
her lap.
actually is like real calm and seated for having it in her lap, so it had to be in her food. Oh well. Oh well.
Which, depending on the day, which one is worse, right? Like like if you were really hungry and you really wanted to eat that burger and fries and that was like your last $20, that's heartbreaking. But then like if it's winter time and like you're wearing enough clothes and it was on your lap, you might be okay if the coffee
Hmm.
wasn't scalding.
Yes, yes. Later
I
we
think about these
see,
things.
and that's fair. We later see a black woman. Her name is Rebecca. She's a lawyer and she's talking to Isabella privately in a room. She says that she didn't think she was going to see Isabella again so soon. Isabella says that they used the gun for target practice last summer. That's why her prints are on it. Rebecca says the sex tape hurts both, like
Mm.
both Megan and Isabella, but she said with added context, they're going to treat you differently because you're the outsider in this town. Isabella says that she hasn't spoken to Megan in months, which is interesting. That's interesting. And Rebecca mentions something happened in St. Bart's last winter. So that's probably having to do with the floppy disk.
Good point. Um, Also, when the lawyer is like they're gonna treat you differently because you're an outsider, it's also because you're black. Like, let's face it,
Yeah.
no, there's only one other black person and two other black people in this town.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's already facing the most because of misogynoir. But yeah, I didn't notice that she talks about the that year again,
Mm-hmm.
the floppy disk year.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that Megan and Isabella are not talking in the last timeline because of whatever happened to Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Like it must have been such a traumatic experience because they were obviously there. It must have been such a traumatic experience that it's just like I can't
Mm-hmm.
even talk to her anymore. Like this is too overwhelming. Um
I
and
agree.
depending on who was the one who actually like killed him, that also impacts things, right? Like maybe Megan did it and Megan's not talking out of guilt and shame. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Isabella did do it and Megan's still really mad. Or maybe it was a collaboration. I still think it was probably Megan or a collaboration, honestly.
Imagine using collaboration like it's a mixtape or a single. It's called
Yes.
Accomplice. It's Accomplice.
Well, yeah, whatever. I think it was that. I think it was that. I mean,
Yeah.
Isabella is really calm. I mean, we know that Megan and Isabella's reactions to things are so interesting because like the way that Megan and Isabella are acting in this final timeline is similar to how they were acting with when the sex tape got leaked. Like Isabella was like super calm, super like, I know what to do. Like, let's just figure this out. Even though it's not about her, she's ready to like take the lead on this thing and take the
Mm-hmm.
heat for it. And Megan is the one who's like really upset, acting out, getting mad at Isabella, even though Isabella is the one person trying to help her. I think it's a similar thing that's happening in the final timeline. I think, yeah, I think Megan must have did it, and that's why she's acting this way and like giving Isabella the silent treatment. And Isabella's over here chilling, and it's just like, listen, I know exactly what to do. Just talk to me. We could figure this out together.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just interesting how the blame is shifted based off of how they react so differently on things, or
Yes,
how the blame is
yes,
seemingly shifted.
yes. I agree. I
Because
agree.
we never saw Isabella get mad about that not being her in the sex tape.
No.
Like she
Mm-mm.
has an interesting way of like taking ownership for things that are not her own,
Mm-hmm.
which is why again I feel like she didn't murder this child, this infant.
Yeah. Oh. Later, Steve talks to Debbie at her home. He knows the finger prints on the gun, and he doesn't suspect the girls, but he mentions the cabin was cleaned, which is weird because he hasn't been there in a minute. Megan is upstairs listening, and she is basically like biting her nails, crying, throwing up. Like she
Cause she did it.
she
Cause she
definitely
did
covered it
it.
up, but yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Isabella later, once again, Debbie has to be told how to be an adult. Isabella is telling this grown woman, you better get a lawyer. These cops are not your little friends. And Megan Megan's like, it's kind of weird that you know about the law. No, dummy. Like all
It's
any of you guys
obvious.
should know
This is
this.
obvious. Like
So dumb. So Debbie and Megan, they do talk to a lawyer, and Megan asks Debbie, where did you get the money for this? Turns out it's from her dad. And she's like, tell him I'm gonna pay. Like, she wants nothing to do with Keith. Megan says the last time, so later on, everyone has to go to the police station. We are in this police station. They are trying to drain any little crumb, any little lie, any little inconsistency
Yup.
out. And
Yup.
I mean, it's good police work, but wow. Megan says the last time she saw Luke was the day after the party at the police station. Isabel says she didn't see him beyond that because they weren't close. So Megan says Luke and her left at the party at midnight. They went to the beach. Then she dropped him off at home. The sheriff was like, hold on a second. Puts on a tape, looks at the security cameras. They were not there. So she has lied. Um,
A
then
big lie.
a
A
big
really big
lie.
lie. Like, which again, like, why do people never think about security tapes when it comes to these like situations? Like, that would be like one of the first things I'm thinking of, just like, fuck, there's cameras everywhere nowadays. Like, there's like the traffic light cameras, there's cameras everywhere. Like, you gotta like make sure your lie is aligning because the camera will show the truth.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I don't know why,
Hmm.
especially that Megan's so into technology. Um,
Exactly.
but
So
part of me
into
was like,
technology.
isn't this a big house? I was like, Megan, you better say you dropped him around back or something. I don't
Right,
know.
right,
You better
right,
fix it.
right, right. Like, yeah, you better say you left at a different entrance. Like,
Oh my gosh. But she's not the only one caught in the lie. The sheriff also says, oh, you haven't been at this cabin since last summer? Well, guess what? I found this bag in the crawl space, which is like, goddamn, you're looking so hard in the crawl space. And then he puts a bundle of 5,000 on the table. And he's like, what do you need this money for? It looks so suspicious.
It looks very, very suspicious. Also,
So,
this child walking around with $5,000 like it's nothing.
like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. It's
Like
not
it's
even in a bank
nothing.
account.
What,
What's going
16,
on?
17 years old in cash?
Yo,
Like
I guess not. But part of me is like, it really does give on the run, and maybe
it
she
gives
just
on the
has,
run. It does give on the run.
but then she
But
has this lawyer from her parents, so they must know. I don't know. I'm trying.
well,
I'm trying not to stress. I got high blood
episode
pressure.
4